What's going on, guys? Magnolia Mo here, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to check out the fosiaudio MC351 2.1 channel integrated amplifier with VU meters, or VU meter. Sorry, not meters, but just 1 meter. It looks pretty cool. I actually requested this, and I want to thank Eric at fosiaudio for sending this unit to me. And again, as usual, I have full reign on this particular review. I'm not being paid for it. So whatever, all my thoughts regarding this particular unit are my own and what I feel about it, right? The unit itself is pretty well built. It has an aluminum casing, and it has some heft to it. From a small desktop amplifier perspective, this thing is heavy. It's not light as I'm accustomed to, with some of the other amps that I've tested. It is actually pretty cool looking with the VU meter. It has a mode button, and then you have your various inputs, right, that you can toggle through. You got the USB, the optical, you can have coax input, you have the RCA input. The mode button allows you to switch between the various inputs. You have your bass and treble controls. These knobs are not light at all. They seem pretty they have some weight to them, and they don't seem cheap at all. The volume knob, that's the best part. You can hear the click, so when it turns on, and it's a good solid looking volume control. Up top, you got the fosiaudio MC351 logo up top. And then on the back, you have the Bluetooth antenna. You have a 3.5 millimeter pre-out. You have your RCA inputs, coax input, optical input, the USB-C input. The USB-C, optical, and digital coax are all for that built-in DAC. And I'm curious to find out how that sounds. There are no there's no specification listed as to what that DAC is on their website. So I'm curious to find that out. And then from left to right, you got your right speaker terminal, left speaker terminal, and then you have that subwoofer out, which is passive, right? Passive essentially means that I actually don't know who makes passive subwoofers anymore, unless you want to make your own, right? Build your own. So that's an interesting choice, but it is, like I said, it's touted as a 2.1 integrated amp. So it's truly an integrated amp with the various input capabilities, the built-in DAC, the Bluetooth connection. And so we'll find out how it sounds shortly, right? So what's included in the box? You have the 32 volt power supply. You can upgrade the power supply to 48 volts, 10 amps. What it comes with is the 32 volt 5 amp power supply. Let's see if it will actually drive or put out the output that's specified in on their website. And then you have the USB-C cable, you have the manual, and you have an optical cable. Oops, right, included in the box. From an amp perspective, the amp chips are the TPA 3255 Texas Instruments chips that are rated at 165 watts into 2 plus 340 or 350 watts at 4 ohms for that subwoofer output, right? So 165 watts times 2 plus 350 watts at 4 ohms. So, I guess for an 8 ohm speaker, 8 ohm load, you're probably looking at half or less than half of the output, right? And that too, you're going to need a bigger power supply to get to that output. Included as well are dual 4700 UF capacitors to enhance sound quality, dynamic range, and stability, extending the lifespan of the amplifier. And that is basically it as far as the specifications and what's included in the box. Let's hook it up and see how this thing sounds. From a setup standpoint, setup was a breeze. I connected my left and right speakers, connected the optical cable and the power supply, and that is it. And we were good to go. First track, Come Away With Me from Nora Jones on Tidal, 24-bit, 192 kilohertz. You saw. So how does this sound? I listen to a variety of music, right? Starting with Nora Jones' "Come Away With Me" because that's my benchmark, right? The brush swirls on the snare drum on the MC351 had a little bit more sparkle than what I'm used to hearing, right? So that prevented that smooth, gradual progression from your left speaker to your left center, from happening, because I could hear the sparkle, and it just didn't sound right. Vocals were fine. The bass was good, not as deep as what I heard on the fosiaudio BT28 Pro. And then the sound stage was good overall, while I'm listening to. The only gripe I have is in the highs, right? So the highs seem to just have a little bit more, or a touch of sparkle. And then I listened to some other music. I listened to some, I demoed some YouTube studio tracks, right, that are available, and those all sounded fine. The stereo imaging is really good. The other thing that I noticed was, the VU meter. I think it's a good value added feature, because you can actually tell when you're increasing the volume too much, and you're maybe pushing the speaker more than what the amp is capable of, right? So the maximum I could get to was that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock position, right, in between there somewhere, right? And every time I got to that, I could see the VU meter kind of go into that red zone, and I would pull back, right? So that prevented me from increasing the volume and really getting into the music. So if you're listening, if you like listening to music, relatively loud, I wouldn't recommend this particular integrated amp, right? But if you listen to it in a normal volume, no issues, right? Other than the extended highs that just seems to make the sound a little bit more brighter than normal, right? And that's basically it, right? So from a usability standpoint, it is is a good integrated amp. You plug and play, you can connect your inputs. What I did find was connecting my AudioQuest DragonFly Red to the MC351 via the RCA jack did improve the sound quality, right? It actually brought back the smoothness of the brush swirls on the snare that I'm used to listening to on these speakers and in my desktop setup, right? So I would recommend, if you're gonna get this particular integrated amp, then maybe invest in a DAC, right? Or as simple as that AudioQuest DragonFly Red, which will enhance the sound quality. But then when you're adding a DAC, and then you also have this, the MC351. MC351 is $189 with the 32 volt 5 amp power supply, right? So you're adding additional cost to it. You're now looking at around $400, under 400, or around $400 for the DAC and the integrated amp, right? So then I guess the ultimate question becomes, do you really need it, right? You could take the DragonFly Red and connect it into the Fosi Audio BT28 Pro and get much better sound overall, you know, more control over the woofers, you know, better bass, better imaging, just adds the wow factor back into, and the fun factor back into listening to music, right? With this particular one, I was always afraid to push it too hard and damage my speakers. All right, so that is it. I will leave a link, an affiliate link in the description below. If you are interested, you can pick one up. As usual, you know, I do earn commission on that, so I just want to put that out there. But overall, like if I was to sum this up, you know, it's a good integrated amp, but the application is kind of, you know, handicapped, right? Because you cannot turn up the volume too much, you know, and with at the risk of, I guess, damaging your speakers. And then the highs seem to be more extended than normal. And that's it, guys. So I will see you guys in my next video. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.